मृत्युर्मुक्षीयमामृतात् ॐ नमः शिवाय ॐ नमः शिवाय ॐ नमः शिवाय ॐ नमः शिवाय त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्युर्मुक्षीयमामृतात् ॐ नमः शिवाय ॐ नमः शिवाय ॐ नमः शिवाय ॐ नमः शिवाय त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्युर्मुक्षीयमामृतात् ॐ नमः शिवाय ॐ नमः शिवाय ॐ नमः शिवाय ॐ नमः शिवाय
Let us chant the two prayers together. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavahai Tejasvi Navadhitamastu Ma विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा Revered Swamiji, who is conspicuous by his absence, learned colleagues, committed non-teaching staff, dear disciplined students. Love conquers hatred, hatred begets hatred. To understand this, there were a mother-in-law and a daughter-in-law in the country of China. And we know the habitual, usual, accepted relation between a husband, between a daughter-in-law and a mother-in-law, whatever the country, whether it's China or India, it's a universal phenomenon. And the daughter-in-law, the beginning she was very patient, but the mother-in-law, she was so nagging. And she would upbraid the daughter-in-law for every small thing. Suppose the daughter-in-law would give her food, an excess measure of food, for example. The mother-in-law would say, "Do you think I am a glutton? Do you think I will eat this much?" Suppose the daughter-in-law gives her a less measure. "Do you think I am a beggar? What do you think of me?" And the daughter-in-law, for some time, she is quite patient and very submissive. But as the nagging increases, the daughter-in-law loses her patience. And she also starts retorting and answer back, replying. So this results in constant verbal fights in the house. And the son, the husband of the lady and the son of the daughter-in-law, by nature he is a very obedient man and he is a tongue-tied man. And he cannot take sides. He can neither support his wife nor speak in favor of his mother. So he was caught between the devil and the deep sea. But for him in office, no, why our home has changed like this? No, let me not go home today. And he would try to make as much delay as possible because home was no longer a sweet home for him. The home had become hell of a home. And in such a context, the daughter-in-law, she hits upon him. And she cannot also bear the taunts and the criticism, the surrounding people, the neighbors. Oh, this daughter-in-law, this mother-in-law, you see the house, okay, how all the time they keep quarreling and fighting and doing abuses. So the daughter-in-law hits upon an idea, something strikes her, and she meets a doctor. And a doctor is a very kind, sympathetic and obliging doctor. Come, lady, what can I do for you? And she tells him all about her mother-in-law. And says, I must get rid of my mother-in-law. Give me some poison, I will get rid of my mother-in-law. And the doctor, he is a very kind man, very sympathetic, very obliging. Say, okay, lady, I will give you medicine. And he gives some herbal poison and tells the young lady, should do it in a very slow manner, do some slow poisoning, because if your mother-in-law dies all of a sudden, the suspicion will fall upon you. To avoid suspicion, do it quite carefully in a very slow doses. And the daughter-in-law follows the advice of the doctor and she mixes the poison in the food and gives it small doses each and every day. And while giving food to the mother-in-law, she also puts up a smiling face and a sweet tongue and she pretends all the love in the world. Oh, mother-in-law, please eat this, please eat this. The mother-in-law, after a few days, is totally surprised. Do I see my daughter-in-law? So much of love and affection. And as time goes on, the mother-in-law also thinks like this. When my daughter-in-law is so kind and so nice, why should I be cruel? She also changes. So both the people, they get transformed. You know, the daughter-in-law, seeing the change in the mother-in-law, she treats me so kindly. No more like my mother-in-law, like my mother. And even the neighbors say, oh, see, such a lot of change has come about in that house. And the mother-in-law and the daughter-in-law, they are living like mother and daughter. And the daughter-in-law suddenly starts feeling guilty. And she runs to the doctor. Oh, doctor, the doctor, he was about to leave. Oh, doctor, stop. Come on, lady, come on, let's go inside. What's the matter? You see, my mother-in-law should not die. She should not die. You have already given poison. I have already administered the poison. Cool down. What happened, my dear? No, she has changed a lot. Her heart is filled so much love. She is so loving and so caring. I cannot bear the death of my mother-in-law. She must be alive. She must live. Then the doctor says, don't be worried, my dear young lady. I have never given you any poison. That is only vitamin and say meant for vigor and strength. There is no poison. So be happy. And the lady, she feels quite relieved. She goes home. And both of them live in love and affection for a very long time. And this shows us we cannot win friends, we cannot win enemies with hatred. Hatred only begets hatred. But love conquers hatred. And if Mahatma Gandhi said these words, no wonder, because Mahatma Gandhi was born in Hindu culture, Indian culture. He said, love, say, don't hate. But if a Martin Luther King in America, if he also echoed the words of Mahatma Gandhi, we are really surprised to know how an American, he also speaks about love. because he had the influence of, say, Mahatma Gandhi and Vivekananda, Martin Luther King, the Negro leader of America. And he said, with all his experience, after all his bitter struggle for the rights of Negroes, he said one thing: there is no power more capable of transforming an enemy into friend. Love is the only power which is more capable of transforming an enemy into a friend. And Robert Browning, the poet, he said, take away love from the earth and the earth becomes a tomb, T-O-M-B, tomb. That's how we see the power of love, and let all our hearts be filled with love and no hatred. And just say two lines of Swami Vivekananda. Please turn to page 94. Just let us remember these two lines. Let us just recite these. And no explanation, okay? What Swamiji says here, Swami Vivekananda, page 94. Behind everything, the same divinity is existing, and out of this comes the basis of morality. Don't injure another, love everyone as your own self, because the whole universe is one. In injuring one, I am injuring myself. In loving another, I am loving myself. I thank our respected Swamiji, and I also thank our Samyog Sir for giving me such an opportunity. I thank all the dear disciplined students for your patient listening. Thank you all.